All right, now to more on the breaking news we first brought you at the top of the newscast. The Pentagon will begin deploying as many as 1,500 active duty troops to help secure the southern border in the coming days.
Deportations in cities like New York could start soon. Our Jessica Formoso joins us now. And Jess, you actually sat down with the commissioner of the mayor's office of immigrant affairs. What do they have to say?
Yeah, Natasha, see, that's right. I did. And there's a lot of unknowns. Our local officials can't give us concrete answers as to what could happen in the coming days. Multiple reports say raids will start in Chicago and then New York. What we do know is the mayor is talking to ICE officials about migrants who have committed crimes. The question is, if mass deportations take place in our city, what would it look like, and does the city have a plan?
On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program.
Before he was sworn in, President Donald Trump was vocal about initiating the largest mass deportation in U.S. history. And in his first day in office,
all illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came.
While details of how and when are scarce, the commander-in-chief has said he plans to mobilize the U.S. military to enforce the operation, an operation that has many migrants on edge.
No me siento seguro.
I do not feel safe. I do not feel safe. Jason Gonzalez arrived in New York City from Venezuela with his wife and 3 children in October. They've been in the city's care ever since. First placed in Floyd Bennett Field, a makeshift shelter on a national park, which is federal property.
Teníamos mucho temor.
We were very afraid because these federal lands, where we fear that with President Trump's return to the presidency, we could witness raids here. That shelter closed earlier this month. So what would mass deportations look like across the country?
They're talking about workplace raids, family separations, strict restrictions on new immigrants, and potentially deporting, they say, 11 to 20 million people.
We have more than 16 million people in the United States who don't have full rights to be here.
Musafir Chisti is an attorney and senior fellow and director of the Migration Policy Institute at New York University School of Law. He believes deportations will happen. As to how many people could be deported, that remains to be seen.
I think you have to take the administration on its word that there will be some kind of mass deportation. What mass is, no one knows.
Laws, due process, he says, need to be followed, but the fear is real among the community. Jason worries schools and other sensitive locations may be targets. We are training our children to know what to do if something happens. It makes me very afraid that they could pick me up in the streets and never make it back home to my children. We are placing all their documentation in their backpacks, telephone numbers, so that they are prepared.
It's not to allow panic set in.
Manuel Castro is the commissioner of the mayor's office of immigrant affairs. Over the last 2.5 years, he says, over 220,000 asylum seekers have arrived in New York City. Today, 51,000 remain under the city's care. That's not counting the hundreds of thousands of undocumented immigrants living for years across our city.
Does the city have a plan?
First thing is to make sure that our city staff at all levels is trained on our sanctuary laws and our sanctuary city policies. Now, as city employees, we cannot cooperate with enforcement, but we also cannot interfere with enforcement.
But what will the city do if such plan is carried out?
There is only so much we can do to protect immigrants. The federal government has said they will enforce immigration law whether they receive support from cities or not.
Has the mayor or yourself or anyone in the administration been able to speak to the incoming administration? Have they been able to prepare you for anything?
There's so much that's still unknown.
Mayor Adams, who has met with President Trump, has been vocal about deporting migrants who have committed violent crimes.
People who commit these violent crimes must be addressed. And that is our conversation with ICE.
For now, all Jason and his family can do is be prepared.
Las primeras semanas van a ser.
The first few weeks are going to be very scary for all of us.
Now, I did ask the commissioner if they have a plan in place if families are separated. Will there be a place for them to go to get information? The commissioner told me they are thinking through what that scenario might look like.
Yeah, so interesting.
Yeah, thanks, Jessica.
And I mean, the migrant crisis unfolding minute by minute. And this is something, Steph, that you've been covering from the very beginning. Most recently, you were at the northern border. What can you tell us about what people are saying?
Yeah, so it's been a long time. I worked in South Texas, as all of you know, at the southern border for almost 4 years. I watched people cross the border in search of that better life. I saw Border Patrol and ICE taking action at the front lines. In Florida, I covered the complexities of immigration and obviously the migrant crisis here. Given the climate, Jessica and I have been collaborating to really round out the coverage as now we look at what this new administration, Jess, is promising.
Right, and you know, in the coming days, we're going to have a lot more stories. Stephanie's going to be looking at sanctuary cities, the laws, how they protect migrants, and we are now learning that there are some protections in place, not many though. Also, I was at ICE headquarters this week, a long line out there, so immigration court. So we're going to take a look at the backlog, which we're talking about millions of cases, which is why, you know, there's a big backlog. So we'll have a lot more in the
Peace. This is the enemy's public. I am Bro.Nasir. You know, I asked the question, these raids across the United States, Trump trying to end birthright citizenship, is this a concern of ours? Meaning, should we concern ourselves with the welfare of such people? Now, the aforementioned people who will affect the raids will affect, all of a sudden, some of them actually expect us to come to their rescue. Now, I've seen incidents that happen with our people, harm being done to us, and even worse, no one comes to our rescue. No one. So the delineation was in effect already, on top of what's going on with the ICE raids. So I ask our people, is it a concern of ours? Just a question. I feel it's not, but I want to know what my people think about this situation. as far as sanctuary cities and whether or not the city officials are going to cooperate with, immigration, law enforcement, when they start rounding people up, snatching children out of schools, which that part is kind of sensitive to see a scared child. Now, that don't sit right with me at all, seeing a scared child. That part. And that part only, really, tell the truth. But I know some people who are not from here who are good people. I do. They're good people. They're neighborly. They go to work, make a living like everybody else. Yet they are mixed in with some people who came here illegally and are committing crimes and are not doing what people always tell us to do. They tell us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. But when others come here, they automatically get stipends, and accommodations. And I want to know from my people what's their sentiment on the ICE raids and the deportation, the mass deportation of immigrants. Now, we, contrary to popular opinions and sentiments, we are being governed by criminals and crooks. The man who sits in the highest office in the land is a convicted criminal. He's a tyrant. And he's lawless. He cares nothing about the law. Absolutely nothing about the law. To the point that he might go and pardon himself. I don't know if he can do that, but he may pardon himself and wipe all of his criminal convictions away, which is the reason why someone convicted of crimes should not be able to run for any government office. But this is the type of nation we live in, that a convicted criminal can run for office. I'm not swayed by any political parties. I can care less about the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. And I care even less about America's politics. I don't care one iota about America's politics. So, yet, when we have some of my people being convinced that they have to choose a side in a political party and putting their faith in a politician, to me, that's troubling, problematic to suggest that any of us should choose the less of two evils. But that's my question. Is this a concern of ours? The mass deportation of immigrants from all over the world. There's sanctuary cities that these ICE agents are going to be going in. They may go into people's jobs. They may snatch people up off the street. They may go into schools and get children out of the classrooms, which seems a little frightening because the guys are heavily armed in the school. And most of these guys who are working as ICE agents could care less about the feelings of a frightened child. They don't care. They don't care whatsoever. That's my only concern, is frightening the children. That's my only concern about when it comes to these raids. The children being scared to death and not being able to be with their parents. And when they go into these schools, these, places of employment, they can care less about cooperation. They can care less about that. They can care less about it being a sanctuary city. They're going to go in. They're going to do whatever Trump orders, because Trump thinks that the president run things. And he's the type that if you don't do what he say, he will get rid of you. He wants bobbleheads and yes men around him. Excuse me. That's all he wants around him, bobbleheads and yes men. He's that type of guy. But for some reason, our people, some of our people, not all of us, certainly not myself, some of our people rock with him. Salute to my brother, T. Riggles. Peace. Greetings to Sharon Walker. Peace to my brother, Bronze Flat Power God. Peace to Big Dog Philly OG. Thank you for tapping in. Thank you for joining me this evening. Now, for that short period of time, millions of people have come here to the United States and been accommodated. They've been accommodated with, accommodations that some of us are deprived of. So certainly I'm against that. And I'm also against people just being allowed to come here into our cities altogether and be afforded accommodations that we don't get afforded. And those who are here illegally, yes, I'm for them being rounded up and deported. But it's a way you go about things. I say just go get them. Those who are here illegal, just go get them the way they came. They have military, aircraft that takes hundreds of thousands of military personnel all over the world to prepare for combat. They can use those same planes, aircrafts, whether it's an aircraft carrier or it's a large plane that accommodates soldiers. Just take them to where they came from, which will be a serious process because you don't know who's who and where who's came from. But you don't know unless you're going to get some people with ID. But I'm sure they'll figure that out. Just take them back to where they came.
In the coming days for you guys.
Yeah, very interesting. All right, thank you.
They're doing this all over the nation also. So we'll see what happens. Now we're going to go to North, New Jersey.
Well, now to the latest on raids and deportations being carried out by federal immigration agents.
We're now learning that the Trump administration's begun flying some of these migrants taken into custody out of the U.S. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt posting these photos of migrants boarding military planes. This first flight took off from Biggs Army Airfield in El Paso, Texas, bound for Guatemala.
And you saw it breaking right last night at 10 o'clock tonight. There's new information about that migrant raid at a Newark business, as well as a new surveillance video. Fox 5 Jessica Fromode was live in Newark with new information on what authorities say led up to the raid. Jess.
That's right, Natasha and Steve, law enforcement source telling me that this was a result of ICE receiving a tip that employees without legal status are working here at Ocean Seafood Depot. Now, they are calling this a targeted enforcement operation, which they say is a routine operation. Now, in a statement to Fox 5, ICE spokesperson tells us some of the people the federal agents encountered inside the fish market were U.S. citizens who were asked to show identification to establish their identity. However, Newark Mayor Ras Baraka says among those questioned, a U.S. military veteran who showed his ID and the federal agents questioned it. You're seeing here on your screen a surveillance video of the moment the federal agents come out of Ocean Seafood Depot with a worker of the fish market. We know 3 undocumented workers were detained. The mayor says he is appalled, upset, and angry about what took place here yesterday, saying they came in unannounced, and what's worse, he says, they did not have a warrant.
The problem with this is that none of these people were rapists or murderers or criminals. The problem with it is that ICE went in there without a warrant. And we can disagree on politics. You can disagree with me about the role immigrants play in the economy of the community. What we must agree on is that the thing that separates this country from many other countries around the world is the Constitution of the United States.
And the mayor telling us that workers inside got fingerprinted, pictures were taken of their faces, and they were ID'd. This morning, the fish market opened again, but the community here in the Ironbound section of Newark is scared. There is a large number of undocumented immigrants who live here.
Now, Roz knows better than that. Roz knows that if these people are here and they're not here legally, the Constitution of the United States and the rights of the people who are quote unquote citizens of the United States is not afforded to people who come here illegal. You have to go through whatever they put you through, whatever paperwork they will have you do, and become a citizen in order for you to get the rights that's afforded to everyone else here. But if you just, even if you're obeying the law, as far as not breaking the law, but if you don't go to immigration and get the necessary paperwork, then according to the law, you're breaking the law.
Here and also work here. You're about to hear from an employee of Ocean Seafood and also a resident who lives nearby.
People, it's like a little bit afraid because they working many times here. And
if they're a criminal, then I believe what they want to do would deport them. But immigration is great. We always need. My family's an immigrant.
And tonight we went across the street to the bar here. I went in there about an hour ago, and I have to tell you, Steve and Natasha, that I counted about 8 people inside. One person in there, I did ask, I said, hey, what's going on? It's a Friday night. He told me, well, everyone's scared, including the employees. So this is why it's not a busy Friday night. So that's what everyone here in the community is saying to us tonight. As for the 3 undocumented men who were detained yesterday, it's still unclear what happened with them. We just know that they were taken away. As for what's next for them, we do not know. That's the latest.
Yeah, my brother T. Wriggles, I find the recording of the raids and the recording of them walking into the plane, I'm starting to suspect that that is performative. It looks performative to me. It doesn't look real. And I'm not even sure that everything that the news, especially Fox is known for its, subtleties and slick ways of doing things. So, and media is multi-ethnic destruction in America anyway. But we're not even sure that a lot of these raids are being conducted the way they say they are all together, because it looks very performative to see a still shot of people walking into the military aircraft, as a raid being carried out or completed. It looks very performative.
we have from Newark, Jessica Formoso, Fox 5 News. Natasha and Steve.
All right, thanks.
We're going to stay in Newark for another video with Ras Baraka speaking about what took place in Newark.
Obviously, some ICE agents raided a business in our city without a warrant. They in the back of the establishment.
I don't know if Ras know the law. You know, a raid, an immigration raid, and a raid of someone's home or business are two different things. The immigration raid is totally different from somebody coming into your home, you know, and going through your things or raiding your house. But when it comes to immigration, it's real tricky. And I don't know about the warrant thing. I don't know about that when it comes to them coming into businesses where they suspect they're illegal immigrants working or patronizing a business. I don't know.
We believe that there were 3 people who they say were undocumented that they detained, but they also detained folks that were, in fact, citizens of this country. One person showed their military veteran identification and was still questioned anyway. People were.
That's one thing that Donald Trump don't respect, and that's the military. Donald Trump don't respect the military. He don't. But I don't know how he think that he could use the military to carry out what he wants them to carry out when he don't respect them. I wonder if they're going to catch on that he don't respect the military. He, in the past, has totally disrespected wounded soldiers who were held captive, POWs, disrespected them in the past. So he don't respect the military because a veteran was a quote unquote immigrant. He didn't respect the credentials. The ICE agent didn't respect the credential of a veteran who probably fought for the liberties that he's receiving, so-called anyway.
Were fingerprinted. Pictures of their IDs and face were taken there. When I got this information, I was appalled, upset, angry that this would happen here in this state, in this country. None of these people were rapists or murderers or criminals. And I'll fight for all of our residents in this city. No matter what that looks like for us.
New Jersey is one of states where undocumented immigrants contribute more than $1 billion in state and local taxes. They make 7% of our workforce. They make our local economy thrive.
And what we learned from folks that stayed behind was that walked in like it was their empire's own conquered land. They were heavily armed. There was no prior announcement. They were blocking off entrances and exits. They were scrambling up delivery ramps. They were banging down bathroom doors to make sure no one was getting inside.
Now, when you got a vicious, wicked-ass hunter who likes to hunt people down, I'm going to go there. These white boys love this shit. And some of the self-hating Negroes love it too. But white boys love this, to hunt somebody down and put them in shackles and chains and confine them to areas, and especially take them breaking up families. They love that part. You know they love that part. We know they love that part. They love doing this thing. They don't care. They're not going to distinguish the criminal from the law-abiding citizen. They don't care if you obey every law in this land and contribute to this society, this economy. As far as Donald Trump's concerned, he don't want you here. And that's coming from a man whose origin is from Germany. His origin is not here himself, but they got a German in the office trying to set up his own damn Nazi Germany. I said it.
They barged into our city to detain our neighbors. Trump's attacks on immigrant communities is now at our front door.
Let me see. Now we got, let me see. Go to the next video. And this is a press conference.
Woken up by the gates next to me by one of my neighbors at 4:45. And
This is the press conference after the immigration raid in Newark. This is the press conference. And we're actually coming to you live from this. Peace to my brother Key Norfolk. One Love podcast show. Peace.
and he was still home because he was scared to go to work. Where is the benefit in that? Who fits in that? So I'm asking that these people be treated with dignity and respect. They are here to make a better lives for themselves, for this family, for this country, and they respect our way of life, and they just want to be part of the American dream. Thank you.
American Friends Service Committee, immigration attorney Alex Goncalves.
Hello, everyone. I have the pleasure or displeasure of wrapping us up here and following all of my esteemed colleagues and all of our incredible elected officials. But before I proceed, I just want to acknowledge.
Peace to my brother Cuban Crisis. Thank you for tapping in, good brother.
Community responding in the way that it is. There's power in numbers. The numbers will grow, as will our power. My name is Alexandra Goncalves Peña, and I am the director at the American Friends Service Committee Immigrant Rights Program here in Newark, where we have had the honor of representing immigrants in New Jersey in immigration matters for close to actually over 30 years. Yesterday's raids serve as a stark reminder of the profound impact that President Trump's attack on immigrants has on both immigrant workers, employees, and local businesses. While the experience yesterday was chilling, and it was chilling, business owners and employees need to remain calm and take proactive steps to protect themselves and their workers moving forward. That is why I am here, to share some important points that I am hoping that we can share widely with community members so that we can respond proactively, calmly, and as well as possible. Business owners and employees in New Jersey, take time now to learn about your rights, the right of your employees, the rights of your managers. Organize training sessions for all staff members. These trainings will be the rights afforded individuals, including immigrants, under the United States Constitution, understanding the distinction between judicial warrants, subpoenas versus administrative warrants and administrative subpoenas. There are differences. We need to know what they are. Your rights under the Fourth Amendment, and importantly, the limitations on ICE agent ability to access the workplace, because there are limitations. they cannot run roughshod. Following the training, implementing and maintaining strong work policies that safeguard workers' rights and ensure an environment free from fear of apprehension and deportation. If you do experience an interaction with ICE in the workplace and encounter ICE officers, document the situation thoroughly. Collect information, including the names of arrested workers, to assist families and securing legal representation.
Peace to my brother, Black Wild Indian. Salute to you, fam.
Employee unions and local immigrant rights groups about any ICE activity. Maintain connection with your community response efforts to stay informed and supported. And importantly, and I will share this number a couple of times, if you know of an individual that has been detained by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, please, you can call our deportation defense hotline at 973-474-9861. Again, this is for individuals that have been detained by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, 973-474-9861. We must acknowledge that the current climate of hostility toward immigrants not only jeopardizes individual lives, but threatens the fabric of communities and the businesses that sustain them. Yesterday, as I was speaking to some of the impacted individuals during the raid, many of them commented to me, what do they expect to happen? Are they going to do this again? Our city is going to shutter. We will not allow that to happen. As we face these challenges, let us.
Greetings, salute to N. Jones. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for joining me this evening. Greatly appreciated.
Focus and resolve. Thank you very much.
So I just want to thank, obviously, everybody for coming out and being a part of this pretty long press conference. But it was necessary, and then we thank you. And so we'll open the floor to the press for a couple of questions on this topic.
Mr. Mayor, obviously the warrant and the idea of it is a very big in the situation. Can you just tell us exactly how you know that no warrant was issued, and also have you spoken? You heard back from ICE or HSI, and also with the with this local business where they came to. Have you talked to them? Have they given you anything, even like surveillance video that shows the ICE officials wanting?
Our folks have had extensive conversation with the owner, with the people that were in there, with some of the community advocates that were there as well. So there have been extensive conversation. There is no warrant that anybody has seen. They haven't produced. They didn't produce one then, and they haven't produced one still. So it would seem to me that they know that we keep saying there was no warrant that they would have shown by now. Right.
They didn't have permission to get inside, right?
They have no warrant.
Mr. Mayor, I wanted to ask you, we do know that prior to the inauguration, there was a standing sensitive location policy that governed critical places like churches, hospitals,
right,
schools. That changed overnight. What are the consequences?
Donald Trump or anybody that he send out, they're not going to respect any type of restrictions or sanctuary cities. They're not going to respect that. These are people who are being controlled by Trump. They're just going to do what he say blindly. They're not going to use no discretion. Why? Because they're dealing with a man who would just simply block their prosecution. Period. They're going to do whatever Trump says, because the person that Trump put in charge of immigration is going to do what Trump says. So they're just going to go in and do whatever Trump say to do, because they will be, again, he said he's going to indemnify law enforcement, which means Don't hold them accountable and render them blameless for whatever they do. And he's going to control them. He's going to control anybody in his constituency, anybody in his cabinet. If they're not under his control, bye-bye.
Point, right? So it makes it difficult for us around health issues. It makes it difficult for us around educational opportunity. It makes it difficult for us to make sure businesses function. What's going to happen to the guy's business when people decide not to come there or not to work there anymore, right? So when the economy goes in the opposite direction because of this blanket of fear that we throwing over everybody here, what are we supposed to do?
As a quick follow-up, during the pandemic, Newark stood out as fighting, bringing communities together. Are you concerned about public health implications of this, that if you could have something like COVID happen to get traction and people would be afraid to seek care?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, during COVID, some of the organizations that you see up here, they helped us get into hard-to-reach communities, to get people vaccinated, to get people tested, to reach into communities. And we had an incredible participation rate in the East Ward and other places in the community. Because I want people to know, too, like all over Newark, there are immigrants all over this town, right? Period, right? And so it's just not the folks that are afraid in the center part of the city or downtown. And people are afraid all over the city. There are West African immigrants in our community. There are Caribbean immigrants in our community, Haitian immigrants in our community who are terrified about what's going on, right? That's a huge population of the folks in the city of Newark. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Mayor, are you going to take any public resources, any city resources to protect against future acts by ICE? And the Trump administration has said that they'll be prosecuting local officials who don't comply with them.
I heard that.
Are you afraid of being prosecuted?
Well, I'm not afraid of what these people threaten us. They threaten democracy. They threaten us individually and say they're going to arrest us if we stand and uphold people's rights.
Now, I can vouch for that. This is a man who's not afraid. This is Ras Baraka, the son of Amiri Baraka, and they're not known for cowarding. So when he say he's not afraid, I believe it.
Yeah, so we already work with our partners here, and we more likely try to help them do the work that they do. If we need to provide them resource and opportunity to do that, we'll do that. I think they're better at it than us. The proof in our relationship with Amy Torres and the organization got us moving on what we're doing today because of those relationships. I think sometimes government oversees and tries to do everything. I think our job is to help resource organizations that are out here working and partner with them and see if we can help them, whether financially or any other kind of way. But we want to do that, definitely. Yes, yes.
What's the name of the business that was raided?
I promised the business owner that I would not divulge his business or his name. Yes, yes.
All you have to do is watch the news. The news, showed it with joy, the business that was affected by the raid. So if you want to see what business it was that was raided, just watch the news. Go to Fox. They'll gladly show you.
Today is mobilize ourselves to protect ourselves at any given moment, right? And I was to my folks we met. I wish that I was in that store when this thing, when it was happening. I wish I was in that store at that time. I really do. I think we're having a different news conference today.
Mr. Mayor, what's the step is the city of the North protecting undocumented immigrants or illegal immigration rights?
Yeah, we're working with our partners here who are doing that work already. We're going to support them. We're going to continue to support them, and we're going to continue to sit down with them. We've been working with them to try to make it work. ICE doesn't move into a facility here in the city of Newark. We've been working collectively to try to prevent that, right? Obviously, there are people who work in City Hall who, without divulging, who folks are at the end of the day, that we have to protect. That we have to protect, right? We give people an opportunity because, as I said earlier, that's what they came here for, opportunity, right? My grandparents showed up here from the Carolinas with probably cornbread, collard greens, in a brown paper bag and everything they owned in the box. Got off the train here, became a social worker and a postal worker. My mother's family, a seamstress and a truck driver, trying to find opportunity for themselves away from Jim Crow South. And their grandson became the mayor of the state's largest city, right? So we relate to all of the things that we're talking about today. Yes, sir.
Is your concern primarily that ICE has acted beyond the scope of its authority?
Peace. Salute to my brother Wolf. Thanks for tapping in, good brother.
The law, and we don't want them to have any detention center in the city of Newark at all. We don't want an ICE detention center in Newark. We don't want that, right? What we are concerned about, and what you should be concerned about, is the erosion of the Constitution of the United States. That is fundamental to this. And whether we're debating, because I can disagree with all of these people that are out there that are saying all this crazy, these tropes, these things that are just wrong and ignorant and foolish and ahistorical about immigrants and what they provide to this country. Because some of the people that are saying that are children of immigrants themselves, right? So who are saying these things, whose mind obviously has been eaten by this foolishness that has been put out here in this culture today. But ultimately, the fundamental thing is the minute we allow the Constitution of the United States to be eroded, that becomes everybody's problem. It's a slippery slope. Because today, they'll go into a store and violate those people's rights without a warrant and go in the back and get people out of there.
Salute to the brother, my brother, Ghetto Child Clinic. Thanks for tapping in.
Saying you're a criminal for lining me up and say, I just came here from Haiti, or I just showed up from another place. What's stopping people from doing that? Except the Constitution of the United States and the people in this room. That's it. Last question, this brother here. Go ahead. Last question.
As an immigrant, one of the reasons we are here is because we believe in the Constitution of the United States of America,
right,
and the people of the United States of America. We will continue to fight, and we're going to continue to support one another, whatever you need. So we're here to give the support.
Right. Thank you, everybody. I'm not going nowhere. I'll be here, but thank you. Appreciate you guys. God bless you. Thank you. So I just want to say first, thank all the organizations that are here today and elected officials that came out. I know I'm probably going to forget somebody. I apologize. Assemblywoman Cleopatra Chucker, Congressman Bondes, so I just saw.
We're going to move on. We stand in Newark, though, on how New Jersey is preparing for the ICE raids. There was a live press conference with Raz Baraka in Newark, New Jersey.
Welcome back to the 5 o'clock news. I'm Natasha Verma.
And I'm Steve Lacey. President Trump vowed to carry out mass deportations. We're already seeing them starting to take place across the country.
And many believe action in the tri-state could be imminent. Fox 8's Jessica Formosa in Passaic, New Jersey, with a look at some of the preemptive measures that they're taking right now, Jess.
Natasha and Steve, that's right here. The undocumented community is concerned and scared. We are in Passaic, where outreach has been happening for the last week now. I did speak with.
And that's the problem. She just said something. Why is there a entire undocumented community? That makes no sense to me. She said the undocumented community. Now, peace to my brother Nate Bad, y'all, Aborigine Israelite. Salute to you. Thanks for tapping in. Now, it depends on how long they was here as an undocumented person. But if you've been here for years undocumented, whatever happens, you brought that on yourself, period. Because you I'm sure in every state where there's a Capitol or federal buildings at this immigration, could have taken care of that. But now everybody's running scared because, you know, the tyrant said he's going to do what he's doing. And you shouldn't be surprised that somebody like Donald Trump's going to do what he says he's going to do.
Speak with Eliana Fernandez with Make the Road New Jersey. She says there's a lot of confusion and chaos at this moment. This information is playing a role. Now, since last week, Make the Road New Jersey, pivoting from the regular programming they offer the community once a week to now hosting Know Your Rights workshops. There are 3 locations in Passaic, Elizabeth, and Perth Amboy. Aside from the workshops, they are out on the streets doing outreach. Eliana Fernandez, organizing director, says there is a huge
That's just the thing. And my sentiment is, as far as Donald Trump and those he put in charge of immigration, if you are here, as a matter of fact, Donald Trump don't care if you're here legally. He don't want you here. But they're not going to respect any right that you think you have. They don't even respect our rights, and we are the people who founded the land, and we've been here longer than everybody else. They don't even respect us. So they're going to respect you even less.
interest in the workshops. They have seen an increase of people waiting and coming in wanting information of what is happening. He says right now it's about giving the community the tools they need to keep themselves safe.
I think like now making sure that folks are getting like the right information and asking our communities to stay calm is very critical. I think we know from the beginning that the Trump administration try to like harm our communities and try to undo like all the progress that we're able to do in the last couple of years. But now as we're here to continue fighting and organizing our communities.
We are feeling fearful like everyone here, but we have to trust in God that everything will be okay. I've been in the country for 34 years, still working and obtaining legal status, which I hope will be soon. But right now, I'm afraid of the raids, that ICE can just come here and pick us up. For the raids, that ICE can just come here and obtaining legal status, I hope will be soon. But right now,
back one more time.
Everything will be okay. I've been in the country for 34 years, still working and obtaining legal status.
He said he's still working on obtaining legal status after 34 years. I find that hard to believe. 34 years? That means that he came here and he grew up here. That means he grew up here. Nah.
Legal status, which I hope will be soon. Right now, I'm afraid of the raids, that ICE can just come here.
Peace to my brother, P. Moses. Thanks for tapping in. Wa alaikum salam. Safaya Yatu's World. Wa alaikum salam. Thank you for showing support. Thanks for coming through. I appreciate it.
And pick us up. And we already have seen that ICE has arrested hundreds of migrants throughout the country. I did ask Fernandez if there have been any arrests here in the state of New Jersey. She tells me none that shows up as of right now. But again, she and her organization are out here. They are encouraging those who need information, who want to know the truth, what's happening and not happening, because what they're concerned about right now is the misinformation. They do not want the community to enter into panic and create that chaos that she's talking about. So she does say that the information. And there are 3 locations, and again, I'm going to say them. It's Passaic, Elizabeth, and Perth Amboy. For now, we are live in Passaic County. I'm Jessica Formoso, 5 News. Natasha.
All right, Jess, thank you.
Now we're going to go to the first time military aircraft are used to deport major
on
First time military aircrafts are used to deport undocumented immigrants. They're using that, so they are using military aircraft. But I see it as all performative. I don't understand why they're showing it. I don't know. It looks performative to me.
Immigration just days after President Trump declared an emergency at the border. A military buildup underway. The first of some 1,500 active duty troops have arrived. Marines from Camp Pendleton arriving with heavy equipment and Osprey aircraft. And for the first time, military planes are making deportation flights. This C-17 Bliss, Texas. Migrants in restraint seen boarding a flight to Guatemala. A new image from inside another flight taking off to Tucson, Arizona. Meantime, the administration saying that arrests are ramping up. More than 500 undocumented migrants arrested in multiple cities over the last 24 hours. And tonight, the president's new border czar, Tom Homan, saying this is only the beginning. ABC Chief Global Affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz leads us off tonight.
Tonight, for the first time, U.S. military aircraft flying undocumented migrants out of the country as President Donald Trump launches his deportation campaign. The White House releasing these pictures, dozens of migrants in chains boarding C-17 aircraft. The flights landed in Guatemala carrying roughly 160 people, men, women.
Deportation is going very well.
Today, the Trump administration new border czar Tom Homan telling me it's only the beginning.
Is that going to be a constant commitment from the U.S. military every single day to take deportees out?
Yes. This as the military buildup on the border escalates. 1,500 active duty personnel, Army and Marines deployed. Their mission to support enhanced detection and monitoring efforts and repair and replace physical barriers. ABC's Matt Rivers on the ground in San Diego.
So right now, these beams are offloading concertina wire. They're going to bring it right down to the border to reinforce. It's clearly meant to be a deterrent against future migration. And these kinds of supplies, we might see a lot more of them over the coming months.
Far from the border, ICE raids and arrests in cities across the country in the days since the president was sworn in. Some likely long planned, but a clear sign of what's to come. Boston, New York, and Newark, New Jersey. Newark saying agents raided a small business without a warrant, detaining American citizens in the process.
People were fingerprinted. Pictures of their IDs and face were taken there. When I got this information, I was appalled.
The Trump administration releasing showing 538 arrests over the past 24 hours. The White House saying they're initially targeting undocumented immigrants who have committed violent crimes. But Homan acknowledges not everyone swept up in the raids fits that profile. And he has a stark warning to anyone who's in the country illegally.
So is this what we will see every single day, ending in what the president has promised is millions being deported?
Yes, but you're going to see the numbers that increase, the number of arrests nationwide as we open up the aperture. Right now, it's in public safety threats, national security threats. That's a smaller population.
So after you...
The wingy skates, salute. Peace, thanks for tapping in.
You do that, then you go after everybody who is there illegally.
If you're in the country illegally, you're out because it's not okay to, violate laws of this country. So if you're in the country legally, you got a problem. And that's why I'm hoping those who are in the country legally, who have not been ordered removed by the federal judge, should leave.
And they're also talking about banning and abolishing birthright citizenships, meaning if your lineage is somewhere else and you were born here, they want to do away with birthright citizenship, which is crazy to even suggest, given that Donald Trump, his lineage is from Germany. And his wife is from somewhere else too. Her lineage is from somewhere else. So if he were to abolish birthright citizenship, they can go get him and take him away from here. You know, that's the crazy part. He's going to try to legislate a law, and not only that, he's going to try to change the Constitution altogether. Because according to the Constitution, if you were born here, you were a citizen. But he wants to, ban and abolish birthright citizenship, being a descendant of an immigrant himself. Shows how demented this man is. I mean, I'm for, people who come here and they don't take to the proper channels to become, to stay here. If you don't do that, then you're asking for it. But to just snatch somebody up, and if they show you credentials, you don't even care. You still, birthright citizenship means that even if you were born here, you could be subjected to being deported, being born here. Deported to a land you probably don't even know about, which is crazy.
Homan was very clear that those committing violent crimes will be deported first, and acknowledges that the show of force, these strong warnings to all undocumented immigrants, are meant to send a message that they should self-deport, since it would take a very long time and massive amounts of manpower and money to deport an estimated 11 million undocumented immigrants. Whit?
Martha Raddatz, thank you.
Yeah, I heard about that Cuban crisis. The president of Colombia turned away the deportation from the United States. I heard about that. I think we already watched that. I think we already watched the press conference in Newark. Yeah, I think we already watched that. We go to the next video. Right, Mexico also, is they may have to do what they do all over the world, my brother. Cuban crisis. You know what they do all over the world when someone don't adhere to their foreign policy, then they become these bullies, and then they debo them their way, to doing things. So we'll see.
Y todos están cayendo. No le recomiendo cruzar porque hay un chingo de
Repel, repatriate, and remove. US President Donald Trump is intensifying his mass deportation effort, removing migrants from American soil. Nearly 538 illegal immigrants were arrested by enforcement officers, and hundreds more were deported. The largest deportation operation in US history is now underway in the United States. Just 3 days into his presidency, Trump has begun hunting down immigrants mercilessly.
Exhorto al gobierno que debería ponerse la mano en el corazón, como quien dice, y saber todos los sacrificios que hemos hecho para poder llegar hasta aquí, y que colaboren con nosotros en nuestro trabajo, pues, que es lo que estamos pidiendo, algo honradamente, porque tenemos niños, tenemos familias grandes, y la idea es seguir trabajando, peleando, y que nos ayuden con nuestros papeles de estadía aquí, que es lo importante, pues, porque ya se puede pasar para allá. Me imagino que uno puede seguir la vida aquí, porque México, a pesar de todo, es un buen país.
I, Donald John Trump.
During his election campaign, Trump promised to drive out illegal immigrants who he claimed posed a threat to Americans.
Will declare a national emergency at our southern border.
As president, he declared a national emergency at the US-Mexico border, which had significant consequences for migrants. By declaring the emergency, Trump blocked crucial federal funding to support his aggressive border crackdown. Protesters criticized the sweeping executive orders announced during his inauguration speech, which included plans to expand US territory and curb immigration. Trump deployed 1,500 additional troops to the border and granted them the authority to assist with deportation flights and construct a physical barrier along the border. As part of his immigration agenda, he also proposed sending 10,000 more troops to secure
The question I ask my people, is this something that we should be concerned with? Or should we, like everybody else, when it comes to us, simply mind our business? I mean, put a 1 in the chat if we should concern ourselves with it. Put a 2 in the chat if we should just stand back like everybody else when they see us being mistreated. Simply just mind our business. Should we delineate? Let your brother know. Should we mind our business or should we concern ourselves with this?
the border. The increased military presence at the border has raised safety concerns for the immigrants living there. Meanwhile, Texas Governor Greg Abbott launched Operation Lone Star, aimed at halting migrants from reaching the U.S. via waterways.
This is a good bill. It's a common sense law enforcement bill. Simply states, minor level crime now, local law enforcement can contact ICE to get these people detained, processed, and deported. These people, these criminals that come across that inflict violence on American families, they just get more and more emboldened.
Within 33 hours,
My brother, P. Moses, that is something that we should consider. It is. It is something that we should consider. It is, because it's going to be a ill 3.5, 4 years. It is. Because some of our people, for whatever frozen of a reason, think that he got something for us. And he probably do. But I guarantee we're not going to like it. I guarantee that. Those trumpeteers, I call them trumpeteers, those trumpeteers who are a part of us, I'm going to say it, they would be crying and complaining by the end of March. Mark my word.
3 years of Trump taking the oath of office, Immigration and Customs Enforcement arrested more than 460 illegal immigrants. These individuals had criminal histories, including charges of sexual assault, burglary, drug offenses, weapon offenses, resisting arrest, and domestic violence. Fearing for their lives and wanting to avoid arrest.
Exactly, my brother. We don't have to defend them because they don't come to our defense. But we really need to be mindful and watchful. And we need to do other than what we've been doing concerning our people, concerning us coming together, pooling our resources, and being the resources that we need instead of, looking to others to do for us what we can and have done for ourselves.
Migrants are now choosing increasingly risky ways to enter the US. Many are willing to pay smugglers all their savings in exchange for a way to cross the border. Families are taking dangerous.
Peace to my brother Shank Rock. Salute to you, good brother. Greetings. Peace to my sister Lady Spade. Thanks for tapping in, my brother Shank Rock. Sister Lady Spade, thanks for tapping in.
Route, putting the lives of infants and children at risk to enter the country. With the birthright citizenship ban set to take effect on February 19th, children born to immigrants will no longer be eligible for.
The link is in the chat, is pinned. Anybody want to come up? Is pinned.
Citizenship. Fearing the impact of this law, some immigrants are opting for premature deliveries to ensure their children are born before the laws are enforced.
This is the right thing to do. It's a really important moment for the country, and it's always good when the right thing is also the popular thing. And this is what the American people demand and deserve. They want accountability. They want us to address the human catastrophe that has come from the wide open border that Biden, Harris, and Mayorkas and the team did for the country. And we are so great. We have a new commander-in-chief, new sheriff.
Greetings, especially Navars. And that's true because if you deport the parent's not going to leave their child, especially if it's a small child. So I know I wouldn't want to leave my child here. If I'm going back to somewhere else, I would want my child to be with me. But you know, we'll see.
The plight of immigrants trying to cross into the US grows darker by the day. Trump remains firm in his belief that he is doing what's best for his country and his people. Migrants stuck at the border are resisting the return to their poor lives and are fighting against Trump's immigration agenda. The White House claims that Trump is sending a strong and clear message to the entire world with his immigration policies. But is Trump's emerging declaration at the border an abuse of power?
I want to begin with where people have seen you most recently. In your latest statement today, you talked about what happened. You don't like what happened to special police officers, but you called the prosecution for yourself and so many others a miscarriage. Do you see what you have done as anything wrong?
I don't see it as what anything wrong. I was improperly indicted. I do see it as a miscarriage of justice. And I think, said before, you know, I can't condone like assaults on a police officer, but I think President Trump said it right. He was going to go case by case, and he did. And it wasn't the actions that he
didn't go case by case. It was impossible for him to go case by case when all of you were pardoned the same time. Either your cases were commuted or you just outright pardoned. So that's not a case by case because it would take a while for him to go case by case. It was a signature and it was done. Don't sit up here and lie.
Pardoned is a miscarriage of justice that he pardoned, pardoned. And
isn't that one and the same in the end, though?
No, it's not, because the process has to be fair, right? If the process isn't fair, then the process is corrupt. If the process is corrupt, therefore the only solution to this is a pardon.
What part of the process do you feel was unfair to you?
I think starting the biggest one, because I don't think we have enough time on this show for me to talk about all those things, but I think the biggest problem that we had is the jury pool. It wasn't fair not only to the J6ers, but it's also unfair to those jurors to be seated. An example in my case, the judge asked, it was simple question.
Sounds like the kind of cases we have when we're in court. They say a jury of your peers may be somebody 20 and 30 years older than you and not from your community. So where's the civic duty in that? It's not your peer and they're not from your community. So there's nothing civic about that.
Question. How do you feel about the Proud Boys and Enrique Tarrio? And they said a whole array of things. They said white supremacists, Nazis, all sorts of things.
But Enrique, assuming it is as it's supposed to, you have a jury when you have the voir dire process, and they are instructed to follow the evidence. Part of the evidence that was presented included text messages from you, correspondence as well. Do you think those same pieces of evidence where you seem to condone and encourage, do you think, and by the way, part of those messages include saying things like, you're proud of my boys and my country, don't effing leave, make no mistake, we did this. How would that be different in any other part of the country or a juror?
Those statements were made publicly on my public parlor, made privately, and they were made after the fact. Did I celebrate the situation that was happening at the Capitol as I saw it at that very moment when I posted it? Absolutely. I think a lot of America celebrated what happened at the Capitol. Like it, whether some people like those statements or not, I mean, that's just reality and it's a fact.
A lot of people condemned it as well.
I wholeheartedly agree, and they have the rights to their opinion, and I'll defend their rights to such, just as I defend the rights of anybody's opinion on what happened on January 6th. And I don't think it was a revision of history. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I want you to finish your point, but I just remember your sentencing. You called it a national embarrassment. You spoke how you felt about, you apologized to police officers and lawmakers who had in fear that day. One of the things you said was, I am extremely ashamed and disappointed we caused grief and suffering, and I will have to live with that shame and disappointment for the rest of my life. I thought of myself morally above others, and this has humbled me and showed me how wrong I truly was to believe that. So sitting here today, do you no longer believe those statements?
I want to be clear. When I say
no, you tried to say whatever you thought to be not held accountable for what you did. And now, because you're pardoned, you want to change your narrative. Disingenuous and hypocritical.
I am sorry, or I apologize for those to those officers that were assaulted and those members of Congress that were scared. I want to be clear. I said I'm sorry for it, but then I said, but it wasn't because of me. It wasn't because of my actions that occurred. It's just me being sorry for what happened that day. And, I truly was. So I do stand by those statements.
I mean, I can get with that. You are sorry. You are a sorry person. You are sorry for what happened. Okay, that's self-explanatory. You're a sorry individual for doing what you did. You're sorry.
I am curious why you celebrated the actions that day. What did you believe was happening? And did you believe members of your organization were involved in the violence?
As of right now that I can think of, no Proud Boys were convicted of direct assault police officer. They walked in and they walked out.
Well, you say walked in and walked out. Dominic Pizzola, who's a member of your, as I understand it, smashed open a window. He allowed rioters to enter the Capitol, quote, robbed a Capitol police officer of his riot shield. That's not just walking in and out. And the reason I understand that you saying that you were innocent of the charges that you were indicted of.
See, they sit here and tell these lies as if there's no video footage of them doing all these things, breaking the law. If this was us doing this, we wouldn't have gotten past the barricades, and they would have shot us off that wall if we was climbing it. We would not have made it this far. There'd been gunfire and bloodshed everywhere.
It's being very dismissive of what has been alleged and what we've seen, don't you think?
Well, here's another thing in my case with Dick Pizzola, and Dominic Pizzola could probably talk to you about his actions that day, but they succeeded the indictment and they brought Dominic Pizzola in because they didn't have enough on Ethan Nordine, self, Joe Biggs, and Zachary Real. He was really what the DOJ did with him is they paraded him different indictments as time progressed in order to muddy the waters for the situation of other defendants also.
But he was violent that day, whether he was part of the superseding indictment. I wonder, you have been known as the leader of the Proud Boys. I know in recent statements you have said that the media should no longer refer to you as the ex-leader and that you're not providing, as of 4 years ago, information on the structure of the Proud Boys. But assuming you are viewed as the leader of the Proud Boys, do you take responsibility for how members of the organization did themselves?
I can't take responsibility for something that I didn't do.
So you take issue with the prosecutors even presenting evidence that you encouraged those members, that you weren't hands off?
I didn't really know what was going on, but I did see, and to me, what I really thought was, some Trump supporters took a Capitol tour and went wild. I didn't know that somebody had broken into the building.
You really didn't think that it happened, Enrique? I mean, it's just credulity for me. I mean, given that you had this, I think it was called the Ministry of Self-Defense, people looked at you and the trial proceeded. And again, I understand that you have been pardoned and the case has been prosecuted and has been convicted. But I want to stay on this point. You really didn't know that there was an extent of the violence that took place as you were selling or watching it? You had no part in the plan.
At the very moment, the scenes that you're showing right now, at that very moment, that's not what I tuned into.
But at the very least, it wasn't a tour of some Trump supporters in the Capitol, right? We can be honest about that.
I would wholeheartedly agree that it definitely wasn't a tour.
I was really curious, Enrique. I heard you talk about after getting out of prison that you wanted retribution. Against who? How would you get it?
So let's talk about what retribution is, because I did in most interviews I did clear up what I meant by retribution. I meant investigations. So they need to be investigated, and if they did everything correct, did everything by the book, there shouldn't be anything for them to worry about.
Who's the they?
There shouldn't be, and here I want to be unequivocally clear that by no means am I asking for retribution to anybody. I don't condone any violence towards any elected official. Actually, I don't condone violence to any human being. But I do think that it needs to be the process needs to be investigated.
And so, who would you be investigating? The prosecutors, the attorney general? What does that look like?
I mean, I'm not in the legal field, but we should start from the top to the bottom. I think we should start with Merrick Garland, move our way down to Matthew Graves, and specifically in most of these J6 cases, some of the lead prosecutors in this case.
Do you believe that, given the platform that you had, Enrique, and frankly, the clout you have for those who follow you, that you have invited an investigation that may not be above board, or that might result in people who are not officially in the law enforcement community or investigative capacity, that they might take it upon themselves to kind of have a vigilante approach, even if nonviolent?
I don't think that anybody should be vigilantes and do it themselves, but to talk about investigations themselves, it speaks to a broader issue, the broader issue of how many laws we have in this country. So justice reform is something big, and it's something that needs to be talked about more.
Would you be willing to, or are you seeking an invitation from the White House to discuss those very ideas that you have about reform? Have you been invited or had any correspondence with President Trump or any member of his administration about that?
Peace to my brother, T. Moses. Greetings. How you doing, brother? Thanks for joining me.
Hey man, anytime, Brother Nasir. This is I'm not even gonna sit here and lie to you. I'm kind of confused. Because that you posed a good question. Should we intervene? Should we say something? I really don't know what's this end goal here. And just as I think Cuban said that, well, after they take care of that, they're going to come for us, and that's a high probability there, very high. That was a very good question you presented it, and right now how I'm viewing this whole thing is, when they do come for us, it will be on some type of pandemic event. If you don't take this, get in this car, you're going off to this camp, stuff like that. And
I mean, I agree. It's several ways, and it just might come at us the way they coming at them. And if we don't, my saying, brother, if you get ready, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. You know what I'm saying? We should be doing everything preemptive and staying ready, staying and standing on business as always, getting on business and staying on business as always. And it should be, I'm not into America's politics, but I'm into what we should be doing.
Right.
And I don't think it ever benefited us, and I don't think it ever would. That's just my sentiment. And I will always think that way. Why I feel that way? Because I'm almost 60 years old, and it never benefited us. So it's a history of America's politics and politicians not doing a damn thing for us ever since I was born. So somebody coming behind me can't tell me what I see and what I've experienced, because I've been me longer than they've been them.
Yeah.
So, we have younger brothers trying to tell us, that we're overreacting. But no, I'm not waiting my turn to fall a victim to what's out there. I'm preparing myself. And I'm telling other people to prepare themselves and let us work together, unified, to prepare ourselves in the event that they come for us next. We have to. If not, we're just doing ourselves a disservice and serving to our own detriment.
Yeah. I mean, we already got to think like that anyway.
Exactly.
Until we do something, as you said, come together. And
we know how to come together, but it's what we do when we come together. It's the problem. We come together all the time. It's what we do together when we come together.
Well, honestly, I saw the sign, from Mr. Musty. I saw the sign, and I hope everyone else saw it. And hearing people say that, oh no, it's totally what you don't think. It's Roman something. Look, if I had one of them Nazi flags in my background, and I would tell you, no, this is the spiral of life, you wouldn't look at it that way. You would say, no, you're part of that thing. well, yeah, this is how we're going to take it. And
You know,
so, yeah, go ahead.
the swastika was stolen from Hindustan because the Hindus used the swastika. It was stolen. Like a lot of our symbols were stolen and they were used for subversive purposes. A lot of our symbols. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
and that's so with the swastika. They stole that from the Hindus.
Yeah.
It was stolen and used for subversive purposes. So now it's, if you see a swastika, like a lot of like Indian people, I think it means universal or something like that. They have it. First time I seen it, I sort of got offended because I was ignorant to what it was. But once I spoke to a Hindu, he explained to me what it was. But he said it's not what it is, you know what I'm saying? It's not what it is when it concerning the Nazis.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They use it for subversive purposes, but it don't mean that when it comes to you know, the Hindus. We only got a few seconds of this video left, and then we got two more videos.
Okay.
Very short.
I wish I had Trump on speed dial, but unfortunately I don't. But no, I have not been contacted by the administration. But I would love a chance to speak with the president about criminal justice reform.
And what's crazy about that, Lady Spade, your comment, you said, of course they're coming for us next because we're woke, and they're going to war against woke. Look at what they turned woke into. If you type the word woke into any search engine, it would be contrary to what woke really is. You know, that's why the brother's name resonate with me. The name, where he called himself, that's not his name, but that's his channel. Woke is the new sleep. It is. Because if you mention, if you see any commentator, any newscaster, or anybody in government, if they mention the woke, they tying it to being asleep. They tying it to LGBTQ. They tying it to all that. That's what they're calling woke today. They call woke turning a blind eye to stuff. That is what they're calling woke.
I tell you this, brother, I'm going to take conspiracy theorists then and make it really good. I'm a major conspiracy theorist because all you're telling me is that I'm a thinker. Yes, I use my brain that the divine gave me. Yes. That's
That's
all
what I
that.
would consider woke is. That's what I would consider woke. But when you hear others talk about woke, they're calling those who are contrary to woke, which is, you know, they have always been a contrary people. The people who run this country always been a contrary people. Whatever is bad, they tell you go ahead on and do it. It's all right to do. But when it comes to discipline and being correct, having some correctness, they frown on that. So they've always been a contrary people.
And they're good at that, ain't they? They're good at taking whatever is good and then, make it bad.
Yep. Good at that. It's like the vampire in Brooklyn. Evil is good.
Evil
is good.
That's
Hundreds of people gathered in Aurora today to protest President Trump's mass deportation deportation plan, one that he said will heavily focus on the city of Aurora. Many other people support the president's plan, and Fox 31's Nate Belt has both sides tonight.
Kim, chants rang out through Fletcher Park in Aurora this afternoon, people rallying the community to fight back against Trump's deportation efforts. Well, they want to see deportation scaled back. A former ICE agent thinks the country is heading in the right direction.
You see,
I always say that justice is charity. It's important for us to show up and show out for our people.
That's what brought Lucy Molina over from Commerce City to join the march. The Metro Denver Sanctuary Coalition hosted the event, with many saying the immigrant community fears the threat of ICE raids.
It's scary. Sometimes I listen, no go into job, not send the kids in the school.
The march, they say, a chance to make their voice heard.
Denver, Aurora, around the Colorado, send the message, Donald Trump, the people here is ready to fight.
Former ICE agent John Fabricatore, however, feels the demonstration is more of an attack directly on the president than his policies.
Where were they protesting when President Biden was deporting people? Prosecuted thousands of people and deported thousands of people, and they were not protesting.
He says he backs Trump's immigration stances and thinks
that's an outright lie, because all the people that were here were coming in on his they were allowing all those people to come here. So, when people were like, when people was getting arrested for beating up police officers and committing crimes, it was like a revolving door. They was letting them right out.
Yeah.
So that's a bunch of nonsense. Nonsense. They was letting the criminal immigrants right out. If 8 of us jumped some police officers, they would have shot us. They would have shot us. But I seen them kicking, stomping, punching. I don't know if it was performative or not, because the media do lie. They lie. Because all you got to do is say action and point a camera. I don't know, because they do lie.
they're the best path forward to promote legal immigration.
I believe in what we are doing. I believe that by cleaning up the immigration system that we have now, we're going to make our immigration system better. We're going to make it better for people to come to this country lawfully.
Right. I also reached out to Congressman Gabe Evans about the march. They provided a statement saying, "A grandson of Mexican immigrants, I know we need to secure our borders so that the sacred process of American citizenship is not degraded. If we prioritize securing the border, then we won't have massive illegal immigrant caravans exploiting birthright citizenship." In studio, Nate Belt, Fox 31.
How you know we're going to make the immigration thing better? Boy, some of these people make me sick.
Better is, what they consider better is just them and this land. When it's not their land, it's our land. Now, this is off the topic. I just saved this because I'm going to use it in a later time, but I'm going to play it anyway.
Yeah, I seen this. Yeah.
Because John Leguizamo is he must have got bitten by a bat or somebody, a raccoon or something, because he's out his rabbit mind for some of the things that he said. And this newscaster who's talking to him evidently knows he's oblivious and he's following a echo chamber of lies. And I found this outrageous, some of the things that John Leguizamo said concerning, the founding and building of America and the foundation and origin of hip hop. Just listen to it. Outrageous.
What did you learn along the way? I learned something by watching it as well. Well, I mean,
Latin people, we're the largest ethnic group in America, the oldest ethnic group. We built this country.
Did you hear that? The largest ethnic group and the oldest ethnic group. We built this country.
Wow. Sounds like Fat Joe again.
This is nonsense.
Suffered in this country, we were oppressed, and we're thriving. I've been so.
It's like he took what we did and applied it to himself and his people. A lie is a lie. It's a damn lie. I don't care who's telling it. It's a lie.
So instrumental in things like culture and even like in hip hop that I wasn't quite aware of just the influence. Yeah.
You were lied to, Mr. Whoever you are as a newscaster. You was lied to. You wasn't instrumental. And you wasn't a part of the origin of hip hop. Listen what John Leguizamo say.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, we've been part of so many things. I mean, we're inventors. We got incredible ingenuity, and we're part of the building of the hip hop culture. It is Black culture, but we didn't assist. We did a Scottie Pippen to a Michael Jordan because
we did a Scottie Pippen to a Michael Jordan. That means you passed us the ball.
I'm sorry. That made me choke. No.
That means that they passed us the ball. They did a Scottie Pippen to a Michael Jordan. That means you passed us the ball. And look how he finished this.
Because we were there. We were the ones that photographed all those photographs you see of beginnings of hip hop. That was us. The beginning of breakdance, Crazy Legs.
Nonsense. Filming something, photographing something, and that's all you've done.
Yeah,
you took pictures of us doing it. That doesn't mean that you are founders and at the origin of the culture because you took pictures of us doing something. Again, by the time people sing Breaking in Beat Street in any type of break dancing on music videos and movies, it was played out and we stopped doing it. It was played out. Break dancing and pop locking was played out by the time people seen it mainstream because, you know, the media use this discovering doctrine method when it comes to our culture. They'll get it when it's played out and it's new to them because they've never seen it. Like when Michael Jackson first did the moonwalk on the 25th anniversary of Motown, that was the first time white people seen it. And they swore Michael Jackson made it up. If you ask the average young person that was born in the 80s and the 90s, they'll swear Michael Jackson made the dance move up when he didn't. By the time Michael did it, it was played out. 82, wasn't nobody doing that in 82. We have been there and done that by the time 82 came around. Taking pictures of something means absolutely nothing. And he mentioned Crazy Legs. When you seen Crazy Legs in 1984 on Beat Street, we have been stopped doing that.
Invented the move. Graffiti. We were the instrumental purveyors of that, the art craft. So
no. Was not. Because first, his ethnic group is not even Puerto Rico. He's from somewhere else. He's not even from Puerto Rico. Let me look that up real quick, where John Leguizamo was from. He's not even from Puerto Rico. He's not even Puerto Rican.
Well, I can tell you this out here in LA, that, you know, the the cholo gangster look, you know, where they have the khakis, the long white socks,
This
the
dude's from
low.
Colombia. Brother, this
He
dude's
just,
from Colombia. He's from Colombia. He's not
he's
even
from
Puerto Rican.
Colombia?
He's from
Oh,
Colombia.
wow.
Man,
How do you have the
Colombia is
last
as
name?
far. He's from far from hip hop as damn. I am from you, bro. And you in California, I'm in New Jersey. He's that far away from hip hop.
Wow. Like, then how do you have, that's not even a is that a Colombian last name?
Leguizamo?
That sounds Italian.
Yeah, he's from Colombia. Bogota, Colombia. That's where he's from. He's not, you know, he's definitely not a part of the culture. So he needs to just be quiet, button it up.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
yeah, that's what I go around America finding all this Latin excellence.
Yeah, that's it for the videos, my brother. I just wanted
Let me
to,
ask you.
you know, just wanted to ask our people, you know, should we concern ourselves with this? Because I was curious, you know, I would like to keep the pulse of my people and what my people are thinking. Go ahead, brother, with your question.
Yeah, I think well, I think we should be somewhat concerned. You know, keep this eye open here. And what was I going to ask you? It slipped. Oh, so with reggaeton, who started that?
Brother, there is a music genre I'm not even interested in, so I don't even care.
Yeah, I just heard Latin. I heard Latin excellence. I'm like, oh, really? Really? Well, reggaeton, it's got the word reggae in it. So that sounds like a brother started that for y'all. I mean, I'm not, you know, nitpicking, but whatever.
You know, it sounds like it sounds like a cross between reggae and like some Latin music combined. That's what it sounds like to me. That's what the music sounds like to me. You know, some of it's not bad. You know what I'm saying? Some of it's not bad.
Right.
And you know, a lot of it's not good either. So some of it's not bad though. But we should, you know, be mindful and watchful about what's going on, because, you know, I was told by a wise man to be mindful of what's going on abroad, because it may be at our footsteps or our doorsteps. You know what I'm saying? It may come to our doorstep. So we should be mindful of what goes on abroad. We should look at what's going on abroad. And I've always said this. Peace to my brother Wild Savage. I've always said this. If you see something going abroad and the United States don't condemn it, they'll do it. That's how I always thought. When I saw Tiananmen Square, when they was running over tanks, students with tanks and everything back in the early 90s, when I see how people are being treated in their country and the United States don't condemn it, if they don't condemn it, they'll do it. So we have to be mindful of what's going on. We must.
Yeah. Like I said before in the chat earlier, you know, I'm really surprised that the camera footage everyone's getting, having that Haitian brother said what that sounded, it looked so scripted.
Yeah, it did. That looked,
you know, and everyone replaying it
forever. Obama
you know what I
mentioned
mean?
Obama and Biden. Now that right there looked like it was performative, and they looked scripted, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, got him hanging out the window, like police rolling the window up, like shut the door. That's it. You don't get to speak, you know, in front of no camera. At least I thought that was highly strange. So
yeah, It did look like it was scripted. You know, they lie so much. The government, you know, from the lowest office all the way up to the highest office, they lie so much that I don't trust them. That's why I would never put my trust in a politician. I would never do that. But you know, some of our people just, I don't know. It's like we're going backwards when I see some of our people, bigging up Trump, and I mean, he probably gonna do some things that I approve of. You know, the thing with the men competing with women in sports, men who calling themselves women competing with women in sports, and the bathroom thing and all that. If he rectify that, I will applaud that. I even applaud rounding up the illegals who are committing crimes and sending them back. I don't, I just have a problem with, I don't like to see children scared, put it that way. Because they go into a school and heavily armed and scaring children. I don't like that. That's whack to me.
Yeah, I think there's prerequisites to it though. Like they won't grab you from your place of work. They won't grab you from school. I think I heard something of their, requirements. That's the things that they won't do, in these type of situations, like schools, work, was it churches? It was something else. But I do agree with taking out the bad ones. If you're cleaning up like that, okay, more power to you. It will make some communities feel safe for sure.
Indeed. I'll do that stream on hip hop if I know people are going to show up for it. You know what I'm saying? And I can do something like that as far as like doing the history on the first MCs and DJs, and I could do that. I most definitely could do that. But
yeah, because that really needs to be.
I'll keep everybody posted on that.
Yeah, that needs to be repeated over and over and over again, just so it's just not just a one-time thing. So it can be repetitive, so it can sink into the minds. And so everyone can get this truth now. And now we can spit it to the others. Whoever's around, you can give them the knowledge on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we got people out here just they're steadfast on spreading the lies, okay, and they're paying people off to support their narrative. Some of these so-called founders and early MCs in hip hop are compromised, and I know who they are, and I know, you know what I'm saying, and I know the history of hip hop. Again, before it was on records. I know some of these guys. I met some of these guys. I don't know them all, but I know a lot of them. And a lot of them are compromised. And a lot of them are bitter also. A lot of them are bitter, very bitter, because in the early days, nobody wasn't getting no money. It wasn't no millions of dollars. Nobody was getting no money in hip hop, probably until like late 80s, early 90s. Wasn't nobody really getting no money. There wasn't no millionaire rappers and stuff back then. Nah, bro. That came way later. Grandmaster Melly Mel and Raheem and them, they don't got no loot like that, bro. No, they don't. They're pioneers, they're legends in the game, but they don't got no money like that. I'm not pocket watching. I'm not saying how much they got. I'm not pocket watching, but they got jerked. Sylvia Robinson jerked them. Period. They got jerked. A lot of the early artists got jerked. Nobody was signing $1 million deals. You know what I'm saying? They was not signing on $1 million deals like they do today.
Right.
Rakim signed one of the biggest, deals for that time. He signed one of the biggest deals, Slick Rick Dig too. But a lot of those cats was not getting no money like that. But you see the names I named, right? Those dudes was crazy for back then.
Like, this is Rakim you're talking about. This is Rakim you're talking about right now. Like that's one of the dons, you know what I mean? And he ain't getting no money. Like, yeah.
That dude really had a mansion back in the 80s, bro. That's for real. He really had a mansion back in the 80s. So, that was back then, though.
But
my brother,
I wanted to ask you
brother.
one last question before you go, man. Because we all saw it. We all saw Elon Musk do that, and some are blaming it on his Asperger's or something like that. I'm not buying it, not one bit. How do you feel about that salute, though?
Was a sick heel. There was a sick heel salute. It was. That was a Nazi salute. Whether the people who were affected by the Nazis come out against that or not, that's what it was. That's what it was. He is, the man is originally the man went to South Africa. Okay, people don't understand his journey. He went to South Africa, but the man's originally from Germany too, just like Donald Trump. To me, I really think that they're trying to establish their own 2025 Nazi Germany. That's why I agree with my brother P. Moses. We need to be watchful and mindful of what these people are doing to others. We do.
Yeah.
Because I think they're trying to establish their own Nazi Germany right here in the United States. You got a tyrant ass, inconsiderate ass man as president, and then he got Elon Musk as his constituent. Oh, bro, that's dangerous. But some of our people would tell us, that we should turn a blind eye to and tell us don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying to worry. I'm saying be watchful and mindful. We gotta be watchful and mindful, because if you stop remembering who you're dealing with, bro, you better recognize who we dealing with. We're not dealing with righteous people. None of them. People are not righteous.
Well, like you said,
we supposed to rock with some damn politicians and believe what anybody in government say. The government, brother, from the mayor's office to the legislative office to the damn executive office, it's a damn cesspool, bro. It's a cesspool, all of it. Greetings to my sister Black Panther Jackie Brown. Thanks for tapping in. It's a cesspool.
Yeah. Well,
Donald Trump's son looked high as hell at the inauguration. I don't know if he was, but he looked high as hell.
Hey, I know Elon didn't look normal at all. Like those eyes.
It's hard to look normal when you're
his
not.
Movements totally robotic. Like it looked like his eye had that Facebook contact lens in, and he's scanning the room and looking at everybody information. Like that dude is a problem to me. Like that's going to be, that, like you said, that's the constituent, and then his business here. He donated a lot of money.
When
this is crazy, yo. I think you're right.
That kind of money, bro. When you have that kind of money like he have and Bill Gates have, you start thinking evil. I'm not going to take it there. It'll be another stream for that. But when you start having that kind of money, you start thinking evil. The only thing you can think about is something evil to do. You got so much money, you start thinking what you can do that's evil to other people.
Yeah.
You know, some of our people want nearness to them. That's the truth, bro. Some of our people want nearness to these people.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
How crazy that is. They want nearness to them. You look, and you know, we'll deal with that later when I do the video on, you know, the Jigga what, Jigga Boo, Jigga Snoop. When I do that one,
ooh,
when I do that one, I'm going to talk about people who want nearness and why they want nearness. I'm going to talk about that then. The Jigga what, Jigga Boo, Jigga Snoop.
Ooh, I got you.
That's the title, but I'm going to deal with all of them though.
It's a cold.
My brother, I thank you for coming up.
Hey man, thank you for having me, man. It's, you know, man, it's an honor to be up here with you, man. You know what I'm saying? You my eldest, so you know, whatever you need from me, brother, I'm there for you. You know, shouts out to the chat. Much love to you always.
Indeed. Before I go, I want to say thank you to my wife. She's always watching. She's always giving me ideas. She's always in my corner when I'm doing these things. So I want to say thank you to my wife. I want to say thank you to N. Jones for tapping in, my brother P. Moses, my brother Wild Savage, my sister Black Panther, Jackie Brown, my brother Big Dog Phil LG, Sister Lady Spade, Sister Sharon Walker, Sister Especially Navers, if I said P. Moses, I'm saying it again. Thank you for tapping in, P. Moses. Just going up the timeline. My brother Cuban Crisis. Thank you for tapping in. My brother Shank Rock. Thank you for tapping in, my brother Shank Rock. Of course, my brother T. Riggles. My brother Cuban Crisis. Brother Nate Bad, y'all. Aboriginal Israelite. Thank you for tapping in. I appreciate it. Brother Wolf. Salute to you. Thank you for tapping in. Black Wild Indian. Reclassified. Thank you for tapping in. I really appreciate it. Sophia Yatu's World. Thank you for tapping in. Appreciate it. So how much more we got? Okay, we got Ghetto Child Clinic. Thank you for tapping in. Sharon Walker, thank you for tapping in. My brother Key Norfolk, thank you for tapping in. Appreciate it. Bronze Flat Power God. My brother, thank you for tapping in. Thank everyone for tapping in. Peace and power to everyone. Mr. Miller is High Life. Thank you for tapping in. I appreciate you all. In the next few days, I'm going to do the one, Jigga what? Jigga Boo. Jigga Snoop. Again, thank you to my brother, T. Riggles, for joining me this evening, hanging out with me for a little while. Again, before I go, if you haven't received your book, if you haven't purchased your book, Fire, my wife's book, this is the promo just playing in the background now. I'm going to play the promo before we leave. Go to Amazon. You can get it on paperback or Kindle. Go to Amazon, go to books, F-Y-R-E, Fire, by Angela King James. Purchase your book, Fire. Go to Amazon, paperback or Kindle. play the promo. Give me a second. Let me play the promo.
Get your copy of Fire. It's definitely a must-read. If you enjoy hood books, this one is it. Just like the title of the book, it's officially Fire. Get it on Amazon, paperback or Kindle.
The once goal-driven, ambitious Sapphire turns to the street life after the sudden death of her big brother Dre. Dre's best friend Devontae tries to honor his homeboy's last request of looking out for his baby sister. A rebellious Sapphire makes it very difficult for Devontae to carry out his promise.
Peace to all. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Till next time, this is The Enemy's Public. I am Bro.Nasir. Like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. Peace.